This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clueless A Trading Frank. It's approximately 9:14 p.m. right when the Asian markets are coming full online right now, China included. It's a good time to do a late night session. For East Coast, I know it's a little bit late, but for people, we have a lot of members out in the West Coast, so for them it's only 6:15 p.m. Midwest, 8:15 p.m. So it might be late, but good to do that because you can actually see what's happening in the Globex foreign markets because they are all opening at this time. Some open obviously earlier, like Australia. On that note, welcome. This is a Sunday night weekend strategic webinar session like we always do. It's 9:15 p.m. on March 22nd, 2020. Full disclosure, this is purely for financial education, not for any solicitation or advice. Welcome. The session will be recorded, uploaded to YouTube, Clueless A Trading YouTube channel for further viewing by all of the members, free trial subscribers, and anyone out there with an internet connection. Please pass the word around so that they can see what some of these free video casts that we do put out there, which are extremely resourceful, like I like to say, and I mean that, facts, not fiction, not some long-winded stories, but exactly what's going on, what we think might happen, and all kinds of other great information which you can use and on your own hopefully make money. Best thing to do is to join Clueless 8 Trading at clueless8.com, the website. Just go in there, sign up as a gold platinum member or sign up as a free trial member, and you get full access to seeing our private Twitter feed, which is where all the action happens. And that's where all the real-time alerts, posts, alerts, real-time trade alerts, charts, comments, everything is produced on a real-time basis during trading hours. And after trading hours, if it's important information and stuff, we put it out there. Okay, let's begin. So right now, another dramatic evening. We have futures down 106 points. That means the Dow Jones is down about 800 to 900 points if it opens here tomorrow. And the sole reason behind that is, of course, the coronavirus crisis, rising death tolls in New York City, complete lockdown of most parts of the United States of America and other parts of the world. China, in the meantime, is opening up like big time. So their coronavirus wave passed. They're opening up factories. They're out there. Chinese foreign ministry economic officials are saying they're going to bounce back really fast. But in the meantime, that wave now is hitting Europe, parts of Asia, and of course, the United States of America. So number one reason. Number two reason, what you're seeing behind you, by the way, for people who are newer members, is we always have the live charts of the, of the E-mini futures that are trading. You can see that. This is obviously a view going back. I wanted to show this view for a simple reason, and that is because this encompasses from February of 2000. You can always see the date here, February of 2016 till now, roughly 4 years. 4 years. Okay, February, March 2016 till now. And there was another very important, very, very critical aspect to, and I did mention that on my Twitter feed on one of the posts, is what happened on November 2016. What happened in November 2016, guys? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Aldi, what happened in November 2016? Aldi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. I could hear you.
Okay, so I asked the question. What happened in November 2016?
I missed that one, Frank.
Okay, what happened on November 2016 in the United States of America? Don't answer, Z. Okay, President Trump got elected. Come on, guys, you can't be that old. So you don't forget that. So it's a monumental day. That day, the futures were down 1,000 points that night, and then they opened up and never looked back. So November 2016, Trump got elected. President Trump got elected, and a lot of things changed in the U.S. Okay, some agree, some don't agree. Business-wise, it was great. So bottom line is, this was right here. So we have now, as of now, President Trump is below zero on his accomplishment of getting the stock market higher. If you just want to look at it from 1 + 1 = 2. This is where President Trump got elected. Okay? Right there at this level, somewhere around this level, which is around 2190, 2200 on the E-minis. So Trump, I gotta write this down. Okay, Trump election. And this is a very pivotal situation that's going on. Not the fact that we're crashing $1,000 points a day. If you crash 1,000 points a day, how many days will it take for the US stock market to go to zero, the Dow Jones Industrial Average?
21 days.
21 days? What world are you living in? The Dow Jones is at 19,000. Maybe you missed it by 2 days. It'll take 19 days. I put that out there too. Now, that's a joke, obviously. Nothing can go to zero with US companies alive, in which case, see you later. It's over. But I'm just wanting to make that striking point that at a rate of 1,000 points a day, if we drop, it'll take 19 days for all our companies, all our great companies, and the United States of America, which is built on the financial pillars of our power comes from the military and economic power. It'll take 19 days. The Dow Jones Industrial closed at 19,173 on Friday. It'll take 19 days at a rate of 1,000 to go to zero. Now, let me ask you guys a question. You think that's going to happen? That in 19 days at a rate of 1,000 points a day, that the US stock market goes to zero? I mean, it is, Aldi, you think that can happen?
No.
Never. That means we are dead. Like, maybe not physically dead, but we're dead. So what is happening? The reason I'm mentioning that, because it's so absurd what's going on in certain ways for reasons that I've explained many, many times. Credit worries. I put out a fantastic article. I hope you guys, I put out some fantastic articles over the weekend. I hope you read that. Aldi was on the a new member training session. I explained how that hedge fund, that particular institutional firm blew up in Chicago on Friday. They couldn't meet the margin calls. You remember that, right?
Yep.
Exactly. So and then all the credit worries, oil collapsing. So it's so absurd that I want people to understand the absurdity of the situation that's happening. That at 1,000 points a day in 19 days, it's Armageddon, done. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Okay, but this is really what's going on right now. So this unprecedented drop now, from a political standpoint, President Trump, who created a massive rally, then a big sell-off here, which almost took out his, because when he got elected president, we were around 2,200. It almost came down there back on December 24, 2018, which is the Christmas Eve massacre. By now, you guys should know that very well. And then the monster rally that occurred in between a couple of waves, all the way up here, all gone. All gone. This is unbelievable. All gone. So on a scorecard basis, President Trump, and I'm just looking at the financial markets here, is now at a negative. He can't come in and say, you know what? I got the stock market a lot higher. And you know I'm a big supporter of President Trump's business policies. It's gone. He's negative. And his opponents, being a democracy, you always have the opposing party, is going to say, oh, great stuff, man. And he's going to say, it's not me, it's the coronavirus, which is true. But they're going to say, well, it happened under your presidency because you didn't act fast enough to kill the coronavirus, even though he's doing his best to do what he needs to do. And right now, one of the reasons the market is down 109 points is why, Aldi? Because you're new. I'm trying to teach you. Why is the market down 100 S&P points, 900 Dow points right now? Do you follow my? Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, because the bill didn't pass.
Exactly. The bill didn't pass it, but they're still negotiating. It'll pass at the last minute. Americans, both parties, we are the best at pushing things to the brink and then finally getting it done. We have all lived in this great nation, and we always are complete idiots. Our politicians are complete idiots, both sides. One side more than other. So they always push it to the brink of complete collapse. Then they say, yeah, we did it. So they'll get it done tonight. And right now, it's the Democrats who are holding it up, which I think is complete garbage, because it is a bill, the stimulus bill, the $1.4 trillion stimulus bill, and there's one more coming, is actually very, it's believe it or not, for the first time, and I went through all the details, the Democrats and the Republicans are so close. It's like minor differences, not like a huge difference. Now, back in 2008, 2009, in March, around that time, early 2009, same thing happened. Treasury Secretary Paulson, under the Bush administration, and then Obama takes over, and they tried to push this huge bailout bill. And the Republicans fought it tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. Oh, it's garbage. It's helping. It's a bailout. We can't just, bail out just U.S. companies for nothing. And that's exactly what the Democrats are saying. You see what I'm saying? It's the same language, different parties. So they dragged it on, and the markets went ballistically lower. Nothing like this. But it got done. And the Fed pumped in big money, which the Fed is already doing, huge amounts of money, buying all kinds of different securities, and saved the U.S. economy. And they still screamed and shouted, oh my God, this is bad. America's going down the hill. That's it. It's over for us. And if I go back to 2009, the stock market looks like this. And then President Trump took over the train, and then it went higher. So markets don't give a crap about who becomes president as long as they work with American business. They don't. So guys, this is bad. I'm excited. I'm going to make money tomorrow, one way or the other. But this is really bad for the Trump presidency. It's really bad because Pelosi is being able, and a bunch of the Democrats are being idiots by blocking the bill. It's really bad for America. And the rest of the world, we're already in bad shape, are basically laughing at us saying, you bozos always do this, last minute. And you know what? We always do it. And we still get it done. There's a reason why you're still in America. Still a very strong, powerful nation. But we're weakening very fast, guys. Our institutions are weakening. Our commercial mortgage market is about to collapse. Our housing market is going to get hit really hard soon, despite these low interest rates. Why would you get a mortgage if you don't have a job? Right? I don't care what business you're in. You're going to get hurt. And if you're a professional trader, active trader, tactical trader, or a clueless trader, hopefully you'll make some money. Which we don't particularly like, making money of the misery of the American people. So take it very seriously, what is going on. So what I think, and you got to think outside the box, is now President Trump is just like, holy crap, I'm below where I started, the markets. They're going to really come at me. What's he going to tweet out? Greatest market ever under me? No, he can't say that anymore. So he's going to act faster, stronger, which will be great for the U.S. stock markets and for the U.S. economy. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Exactly. Take it very seriously what's going on here. This is such garbage, it's not even funny. Oh yeah, TDOC teledoc is probably going to go to $200 because everybody's telemedicine. Everybody. And Zoom is going to go to the roof, and Documentum is going to go. DocuSign is going to go to the roof because nobody wants to meet each other to sign any papers. And a bunch of coronavirus stocks will go higher. But what is going to happen to the real mainstream U.S. economy? Ooh, it's not a nice thought. So what do? Do we put our head under the pillow and shoot ourselves? No, we stand up and we look for opportunities, and the opportunity is coming. Did anyone read this article where it says bruised hedge funds ask clients for fresh cash to buy the dip? Did anyone get a chance to read that? I just put it out about an hour ago. Trying to bring it into
Yes.
Yep,
Yes.
I know Mike would. You guys need to read this. You guys need to read this. Like we say, edumacate yourself, not educate, edumacate yourself. All right, just kidding. So bottom line is educate yourselves. And that's where you will understand a lot of the stuff, that way your mind will be ready to attack and use all the tools that are provided to make money. So this particular, so this thing is such a big joke that I just had to highlight it. And everyone's so serious about it, which is actually good. That shows how serious and scared everybody is. When somebody says they're not scared about the US economy, they must be like really boozed up. They must be like really like living in a land like they have no idea. Or maybe they are trust fund kids, trust fund parents with 30 billion in the bank or 30 million in the bank. I don't have that. I got money, but I don't have like money like, oh, it goes, who cares? So to read this, these are the biggest of the smartest minds. Bunch of hedge funds, Citadel, all these big guys who are powerful, they're smart. They are begging their clients to get cash so they can buy the dip. Any of you who don't read this stuff, then okay, great. Okay, don't read it. Read it. Thank you. Next one. We know coronavirus stimulus bill fails in there. They'll come through with it. Like President Trump even stood at the podium. He did the press conference an hour ago, and he said, we'll get it done. We'll get there. And you notice how Trump is not going nuts on Twitter, attacking Pelosi and the Democrats or Schumer or anybody? Have you guys noticed that just in the past couple of days? You notice how cooperative he's been, working with the opposition to get the bill passed and other measures passed? Did you guys notice that? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Exactly. Under normal circumstances, he would be ripping Nancy Pelosi's hair out on Twitter. Yes or no? And saying that the Democrats and the opposition is like whatever. He's not doing that because they are talking. They have a meeting of minds. The market plays games, doesn't want to believe it. But think about it. This is called mental game theory. Think outside the box. Don't think like the bozos out on the street, whether it's Wall Street or Main Street, or whether it's High Street. Think smart. Notice how he's not doing that. He's not calling Democrats any names. He's not calling them to like, oh, bunch of jerks. You guys are doing this and that. He's working with them because he knows he needs them at this very critical juncture, just the way the Democrats needed the Republicans back in 2008, 2009. Understood? Make America smart again. All right, that's how you make America great again. So trying to make you guys all very smart again, but knowing that you guys are smart anyway. So, all right, so read that and please read this. This is the most important part. What happened between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock when the markets closed on Friday? And these things will keep on happening. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago in different webinars and also during my thing that a bunch of hedge funds are blowing up. Of course they're blowing up. They have huge margin calls. The credit market is in complete disarray. The stock market's falling 1,000 points a day in between 2,000-point rallies. So they're blowing up. So when you blow up, what do you do with your portfolio of stocks? They are forced to sell it. The margin clerk say, okay, you didn't come up with the cash, so you let it, ching, boom, 10 million gets sold in 1 second. And that includes many stocks that are the big name stocks. And you're wondering, why are these stocks going down like this? That's because they're going through a massive liquidation sale. Got it?
Yeah.
Exactly. Just the way they did liquidation sales on foreclosed properties back then, and then these big investors and some small investors, they pools of hedge funds bought thousands and thousands of property across the country, Arizona, all these places where there were all these abandoned homes, and then turned them around and sold them to the market at 300% profit 2 years down the road, right? Exactly. So in my opinion, you want to buy liquidation sales. This is a liquidation sale. For selling, fundamentals out the window. Market has already, in my opinion, discounted the worst possible scenario, a sharp recession in the US economy coming up by the next quarter, for the second quarter. I think the market has more than discounted that. We are down more than 32% or more on the overall market indices in 3 weeks or 1 month. It has never happened. It didn't even happen during the Great Depression. Somebody says, wow, how can that happen? Well, welcome to the world of algorithmic high-frequency trading, systematic black box robotic programs. They're getting blasted. And lots of these hedge funds are getting blasted. That's a simple answer. They're not happening because mom and pop is saying, oh, let's sell everything. Yeah, they're saying sell everything, but they're not like going, that's like selling everything. These guys are just like lock, stock, and barrel, boom. And they're losing money, believe me. So, saying all that, now that you know the real picture, the real story of the United States of America and its economic situation at this point, let's take a look at the technical view of what's going on. Whatever happens, at some point, I don't know the exact time, I can give you levels, and the levels will be tested very quickly. You're going to get, just the way we got certain days, face-ripping rallies, which will make you a lot of money. But if you're sitting around for things to get better, the market will be way higher by the time you get the first news announcement that coronavirus curve, as in the acceleration of infected cases, is actually starting to come down. The market always will sense it and move ahead before the good news arrives. And by the time the good news arrives, there'll be limit up, which we had one of those halts, and you won't have any chance to buy. Of course you can buy, because the market will continue to move up for a couple of days. The big money in the market is always made at the most stressful times ever. This monumentally, first time, well, not the first time, but maybe the second or third time in US history, the most stressful time. I like buying distressed property. I like buying distressed stocks. I told you guys in a couple of webinars way back that this market was getting a little too happy. Many of you remember that. And I said very clearly, I still remember, because I'm the one who does these videos, that I don't like buying stocks opening up 15, 20 points every day. So I started playing small. Even though I did predict that the market was going to go towards 3,400 on the S&P 500 for the E-minis. And it did. It did exactly that, give or take a few points. And I did expect it to blast forward more. It would have, if we didn't have this coronavirus thing that hit us like a black swan event. But when are you going to buy the stocks? When they are running up $15, $20 a day? Sure, that's momentum trading. Or do you want to buy them when they are just literally giving it away for free? Just, figuratively speaking. The problem is nobody buys low. Everybody wants to buy high, which can go higher till you get caught. But when things are at bad, absolute, literally absolute close to like bargain basement prices from a valuation perspective, whatever, nobody wants to touch the stock market. So let's not be like that. I'm not telling you to go out there. What am I? I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just sharing my thoughts. But like, who said that? That fantastic hedge fund guy. I was a serious investor. Like he said, if I was you, I would get a second mortgage on the house and buy the crap out of the market. I didn't say that, but that's pretty much where we are. All right, guys, are you with me so far?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Start getting scared. I mean, really scared. And when you get really scared, what happens? Your survival instincts come into play. And then you start acting like a beast to make money. If you're happy right now, you're going to lose money. I'm not stressed, but I'm worried, of course. But I use my fear as a positive energy to make crap loads of money, which we do very often, even in this markets. But if you're waiting around for that perfect moment, it ain't coming. Let me just tell you that. Okay, and I've done this long enough to know it and say it with confidence. All right, guys, let's look at levels here. This is the market going back to 2016. President Trump gets elected. I will highlight it again right here, November 2016. November 2016, right here. President Trump gets elected. We have given back all of that, and we are holding that. We're attempting to hold it right now as we speak, with futures down 94. We were down 120. Doesn't matter. What is the next level of support? I showed this on one of my older charts too. Let's say everything just breaks down. Nancy Pelosi and her tough nut, some of, and I think it's only a few of the Democrats who are holding back. We need 60 votes in the Senate. Playing political games. Who doesn't play political games, right? Don't us Republicans play political games? I mean, come on, let's not be hypocrites. So bottom line is, this is the same situation 2008, 2009. The market bottomed on March 9, 2009 and never looked back. The same crap happened, except this is far more serious because it's a frigging virus we can't see. There, it was the housing market that collapsed. We could see. Virus you can't see. So, President Trump's credibility, economic prowess, and his election is in jeopardy at this point. I believe he's going to use that. And you don't think, his party is scared? Maybe he's not. You know how Donald is. He's like, no way, I'll get through this. He will. But his party's scared. They're going to lose the presidency. So they're going to act, and they're acting. So next level of support comes in at 2,000. If we drop from here where we are right now, which is around 2190, let's call it 2200. I said 2200 get retested. What was the tweet that I put out there? Does anyone cares to remember? Not that I want you to memorize my tweets, but I did say that after market on Sunday, we will retest 2200. Let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, this is how precise what we do here at Clueless Trading. All right? I told you that we would retest 2200 by Sunday evening. Are we doing it now, guys? Because we closed at around 2300. Did I not say that we will retest this by Sunday evening? Is this Sunday evening, yes or no?
You said it.
Yep.
It happened.
Exactly. It's happening. It's happening, ladies and gentlemen. First level of contact where we're going to get a pretty severe bounce, or give or take, is between 2100, 2200. If we get straight to 2000, I will buy with hands down like no one's frigging business. I'm not a genius to figure out I was going to test 2200 because the way the market closed, and given the weekend, with every single headline is like, and the virus is serious crap. Every state shutting down, New York emergency, Jersey City, New Jersey, my state, right across from New York City, high number of cases. 60 to 70% of the companies countries under lockdown. What do you expect? Markets have already discounted it, but still. So okay. So now that I did my first job, 2200. So we're retesting it right now, right here, right now, in real time, right there, ladies and gentlemen, right there. So 2000 is basically the next level of major support. So 200, that's another 1600 points on the Dow. roughly, from where we are right now. Can that, well, it can't happen right away because they'll halt the markets. But the ultimate worst case scenario over the near term, ladies and gentlemen, we have to know both the upside and the downside. We're not kids here. Even though adults are actually the biggest kids ever, especially when it comes to trading, is 1800. 1800. 1800. So if we go from 2200 roughly to 1800, how many points is that? Aldi, you should know this like the back of your hand. If we lose 400 points, 2200 to 1800, how many rough points it is on the Dow Jones Industrial Average? If you can remember, I want you to write it down.
400.
Don't make up stories. I just told you that, don't make up stories, okay? I just told you if we fall from, this is 400 points. Maybe that's what your answer was. What is 400 points on the S&P 500 or the E-minis converted to the Dow Jones Industrial Average? It's not equal, you know that. Okay, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but you need to get a pen right now, my friend, and write it down. I have mentioned it at
Frank,
least 300 times. Go ahead.
I don't know the formula. I don't know the
There is
formula.
there is no formula. I've mentioned it many times. I'm not picking on you, but you're very focused. You're a great student. You're doing well, but you need to know this basic thing. There is no formula. It's a conversion rate of 8 to 1. I've mentioned it many, many times on webinars and sessions you have attended. So it's 3,200 points. Can you please write it down? That one S&P point is roughly 8 Dow Jones Industrial Average point. You write it down?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now you know. So 3,200 points. So there is a possibility that after we have a quick short-term bounce, that we drop down to 1,800 S&P 500. That's another 3,200 points down, which will bring the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is roughly at 19,000 and change right now. Let's call it 19,000. And if it drops, if we go 19,173 minus 3,200, we will arrive at roughly minus 3,200. Sorry. The Dow Jones Industrial Average at that point will arrive at roughly 15,973. 15,973. President Trump's election is done. Done. Dow 16,000? You kidding me? It can happen though. So he is going to do whatever it takes, and that's what I love. When a man's back is against the wall with a gun to his head and his family screaming, the first thing he's going to do whatever it takes to kill his attacker and move forward, or subdue his attacker and move forward. The Dow Jones Industrial Average at 16,000 is a possibility, ladies and gentlemen, if we don't take unbelievably forceful action. And that is a catastrophe that will be read by generations to come. Okay, so now you know the levels. Now let's talk about the higher levels. Are you guys with me so far?
Yeah.
Good, real simple. Let's zoom in. I should send my videos to actually Donald. I should just attach my links and say, Donald, why don't you go listen to my videos? I'm a big supporter of a lot of the stuff from a business standpoint, from a financial standpoint. Of course, that's what we talk about here, and everything that you're doing, what you're trying to do, great business-friendly policy. And so why don't you listen to it? Get some ideas. Stop twiddling around. Act. Before they gobble him up. They'll gobble him up if he keeps, but he's doing the right thing. But no more small talk. No more stupid tweets. No more name calling. None of that stuff. And he's been very statesman-like, which I like. Okay. So bottom line is, what's the first level of the bounce? The first level of the bounce, again, is right there where we broke down from. So that's 2258. Remember, we are moving at 1,000 points a clip, up or down. So there's a lot of intense volatility, lots of money to be made. Very fast, though. It's happening very fast. So best case scenario is we move from where we are right now, which is around 2190. which is a breakout level from December of 2016. Imagine that. This is right after the elections. Right after the elections. This was the breakout level. See that right there? So bottom line is that this is not rocket science. I'm making it real simple, guys. You don't need to sit there with like hardcore, like technical analysis. Like, oh my God. At this point, with the madness in the markets and the way it's falling, all you have to look at is levels. Forget patterns, forget this and that. Is that a pattern? Yeah, you know what pattern that is? That's called the Niagara Falls. If somebody pushed you over it. And you still survived when you hit the water. Some people have. This is not a pattern. This is one heck of a waterfall decline never seen in the U.S. history in modern memory. It's a pattern. In between, there's a lot of patterns that we play very effectively. So that's okay. This is a waterfall pattern when the dam breaks and towns and cities and villages are wiped out. That's the pattern. That's what's happening with U.S. business. Trillions lost. What a shame. And they're debating whether to infuse money and save Boeing? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Even the Republicans are questioning whether they should save Boeing. What the hell are these guys smoking? And in the meantime, a couple of Republican senators are selling stock right before the crash. Oh, real good publicity stunt. Unbelievable. Our politics, pathetic. You guys heard that. What the hell are these guys doing? They're part of the intelligence committee and they're selling stock right before the crash because they know more information. And that's not insider trading? The guy should be fired. So, you guys heard about that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And other people, you guys should hear about it. I don't care who you support or don't support. That is wrong. You're selling $1.5 million worth of stock because you have information things are going to get worse before it gets better. And you're saying, oh, it was already pre-planned. The guy should be just thrown out. Drain the swamp. I don't care what party it is. Just freaking throw him out. Or put him in jail for doing that kind of crap. Unbelievable. Richard Burr, I believe his name. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about the market. So if we can bounce from 2,200, the next level is 2,300. That's 100 points. We're going to move in 100-point increments overall. So 100 points is, Aldi, how many points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average if we go up 100 points on the S&P 500?
800.
Exactly. There you go. Simple formula. Just a factorial. 800 points. Now, 800 points, just so you guys know, as traders, let's talk trading, can happen in literally half an hour. What half an hour? 15 minutes. Yes or no? Yes or no? Come on, guys. I want to hear some feedback. Test. Can you guys hear me?
It could happen, yes.
Okay. Anyone else, if they're alive, just let me know. It can happen so fast, it'll come and go before you even know it. We can go up 800 points and then drop hard without blink of an eye. So if you think that 800 points is going to change the trajectory of this market, you're very wrong. I'm going to tell you what's going to change the trajectory of this market, where gains can hold, which it was trying to do very well till Ronin Capital blew up on Friday, 2 p.m. It was attempting that very well. So what I'm trying to tell you all, so you guys all understand and smell the coffee, is 800 points to 1,000 points on the Dow mean nothing. They are simply trading opportunities that you can take advantage of if you have the speed and the time. And of course, the trading money. They're going to be fast and furious. The first couple of attempts on the market to recover will be sold viciously because most of everybody, there's a lot of margin calls still out there, guys. And some of these hedge funds are going to blow up. And there's going to be some other big shot investors who are going to say, that's it. We got a 1,000-point bounce. Let me get the hell out of this market. America's doomed. In which case, they should all be thrown out of America. To where? Don't ask me. Just pick any country. All right, but that's what they're going to do. So the market, those bounces will be very fast, very furious, and then all of a sudden, when you think it's all over, it'll stick. We are going to get, read my lips, hear my voice. We are going to get a 2 to 3,000 to 4,000 point rally coming. Don't have the exact time and date yet, but it's coming. Between 2 to 4,000 points. Vicious. I say 2,000 points. I say 3,000 points. And it'll be sold immediately. Haven't we gone up almost 1,800 points and the next day the market was down and given everything back? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Exactly. To take advantage of these things. It is no longer a market where you can just blindly say, okay, I'm buying here and it's going to keep on going up and up and up. Nope, 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 nope. As long as you accept that, you're going to be fine. It doesn't mean you have to be a day trader. It doesn't mean you have to be a 5-minute trader. But if you get profits, take it. Because second quarter earnings, first quarter earnings are going to be reported starting after April. And none of them are going to be pretty. Now, the market has already discounted that, but once earnings reporting starts for the first quarter, which ends on March 31st, there's going to be some ugly guidance. But the market has fallen so much that if the guidance isn't that bad, meaning that their outlooks about what's going to happen isn't that bad, the stocks are going to rally like you wouldn't believe. Because the market has already discounted the worst. The market's already discounted that Apple won't ever sell a phone ever in China. In the meantime, all Chinese Apple stores are open and they're buying like crazy. 5G, like Qualcomm said, unaffected. Technology moves on, virus or no virus. Remember the Qualcomm guy came on and stocks started rallying like no one's business, and we were already long. For example, a chip stock like AMD went up like almost 8%. Calls were up 60%. The defense has started. They're mounting the defense. Right there, right there. On the eve of Donald Trump's presidency back on November 16, 2016. It is a very symbolic date, guys. It has to be defended. So on the upside, where the trend change will happen, so let's go in a little bit closer now. Let's get a little bit closer. And the Saudis and the Russians, you don't want me to start on them, do you? And now finally, the Trump administration is waking up. They always knew that they're going to intervene and try to get those bozos to do something about stabilizing oil prices. They're supposedly our friends. My butt, they are. Putin and Mohammed bin Salman, MBS, they're both sharks. They don't have America's greatness in mind. They just want to use us. Saudi Arabia for our weapons, and Russia wants to weaken us in Europe and stuff so they can take over and have their hegemony happen all over Europe. Is that hard to understand? They never liked American dominance over the world. Putin, Donald's friend. Yeah, right. Sure. Okay, let's move on. So bottom line is that then if once this oil situation, let's say they manage to get in hard, Harold Ham. That's what's the name of Mike knows. Harold Ham runs with what's the big company that he runs? It's not Occidental. It's one of the big. He's a big oil guy. He's like T. Boone Pickens who passed away. Harold Ham. He was on, and then our second one of the Republican senior senators from Wyoming, I believe. They were both pissed off. They were saying the same things I said on the webinars. These guys are out to destroy us. We gotta use this is a national security threat. The Ruskies and the Saudis are a national security threat because they're destroying the U.S. economy's one of the largest pillars, which is the oil industry, or at least the shale oil industry. And we're sitting around not saying anything to them. Are we nuts? So finally, they're getting around to doing it. So once that stabilizes a little bit, boom, the market will find a real footing. We don't have a complete collapse on the oil patch, and we move fast and furious. And they're involved in it right now. They're talking to them like, guys, cut it out. Okay, they're telling Putin to basically, stop drinking what he does or whatever he does, riding bareback horses, all right, and his oligarchs, and telling the Saudis, not to offend anybody, to frigging shave their beards and start to be a little bit more, like less fundamentalist about oil. That's serious. I'm sick and tired of both those places. So anyway, so the bottom line is that once they get them going, boom, the market stabilizes in a big way. So where the trend change really comes into play, in my opinion, let's zoom in more, is over 2,300, which was the last climactic low on Christmas Eve massacre, 12/24. One second. What is this news? U.S. axed CDC expert in China. Well, yeah, okay. I don't want to get into that. So bottom line is December 21st. That's what we thought the markets would hold. They were holding till Friday. So what level is that? 2,300, 2,300, 2,320. And that, most importantly, 2,500. So let's go in, zoom in. There we go. So basically over 2,500, we are going to shoot real fast towards 2,800, and that to me is which is the 20-day moving average, not the 20-week, 20-day moving average, is going to be a point of major resistance. So when people start getting excited that, oh, this is the real deal, markets are going to go, well, it simply means we're going to go somewhere around 2,800 S&P. You guys can write this down. Why write it down? My video is going to be on YouTube anyway. Now, if you go from 2,200 to 2,800, that's 600 points. That's 600 times 8 is 4,800 Dow points. So let me write this down so I'm on record. Tell me I was wrong down the road. But it's going to happen very fast. Okay. So from here, max move, downward sloping. Forget about 50 and 34. They're way up there. Not even thinking of that. So bottom line is the 20-day moving average is at 2,800. So in simple terms, 600 points is approximately, SPM points, is approximately 5,000 Dow points. That's the most you're going to get on this run, whenever the run starts. It's going to happen very fast, very quick. Don't get excited, sell into it. Make a crap load of money, put it in cash on the side, and see what happens. It's actually quite simple. Do I think that 21, 2,200 level will hold maximum 2,000? Yes, I do. High conviction, I do. Now, I can show you a lot more complicated charts and blow your minds out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stick to the normal. This is it. This is it. I've drawn enough charts to show you guys with the downtrend line and stuff, but 2,600 is resistance, 2,800 is the move, and that's it. That's all you need to know. Now, somebody says, when will this happen? Well, it can happen as early as early April. It's going to happen very quickly. Markets don't move in 100 points anymore. Those days are gone. Doesn't it seem weird? Like the markets were up 100 points. We're like, wow, the market's up. Like markets up 100 points. We're like, what? This is going to crash. Let the market be up 1,000 points. We're like, it's going to crash. Yes? Wrong? Or right? Am I right or wrong? Right now, it's all about the crash scenario. Markets go up 2,000 points. We don't think it's going to go up 2,000 points after that. We think it's going to pull back. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Exactly. Because that's how the market. Remember, the market shapes your mental thoughts, not mine. It does affect me too. But as an investor, as a trader, the market shapes the way you should think. Because humans are weak animals. They're weak. Our minds are weak. So they don't want to go against the grain of what's happening. They're like, it's called recency bias. What is happening now will keep on happening. Because that's how humans are programmed, your genes. People who rise above that are the real contrarian thinkers. I try to be up there. I try work really hard mentally to think like that. And one day maybe I will get really good at it. And I've been pretty damn good at it overall. So I like to just not think like that. Neither am I stupid. I told you they're going to sell the rallies. And I showed you the levels. But I'm simply saying the market shapes the way you think. As long as you accept it, you are going to go against the grain and think outside the box. Okay. The Anthony Robbins session is over for the last 15 minutes. So let's take a look at shorter term charts. Futures are down 95. And the shorter term charts, you can see here, if I just adjust a few lines, this was a major peak in the market. When was that? Only one Friday ago, not this Friday one, but another Friday ago. And I'm just going to clean out. How about I clean out this whole chart so I can show you guys? Okay. And I am going to look at, as I've taught in many ACS sessions, and all of you remember that you have to look for the last major top. The last major top was this, which everything was looking fantastic till it didn't look fantastic. Okay, and that was, so you look at the last top right here. And in between, we're going to catch stocks like we have been, which are going to blow the market sky high even when the markets are down. We know the names. You guys know the names. Keep playing them. Keep playing him. Teledoc, Zoom, DOCU, even AMD on certain times, Netflix at certain times. And then, of course, we have our coronavirus stocks, Regeneron, reversal plays like ARWR. Like, where did that come from? It was up like 180%. It sold a bunch of it. Arrowhead Pharmaceutical. Anthem will bounce. Moderna, weird. The stock should be at 50. It's sitting here at 28. Yeah, it's good. It's good. You know, it'll go up to 30, but it's not a big money-making stock unless it really moves big. Regeneron, of course. Gilead, doing well. Slow moving, but great. CrowdStrike, fantastic. Great earnings in the middle of a debacle. Stocks up like frigging 22% before it and ended up 19%. Options went from 3 to 7. I sold it somewhere between 6 and 7, with the average cost of around 3. What am I complaining about? Okay, so there's always opportunities. So here's your range: 2,700, 2,200. You see, that's the reason why I'm kind of like, hard ass when it comes to being a trader. I never give excuse to myself. I stopped that a long time ago. Even on the worst possible day, I'm just like, what the hell's going on? That's it, man. Stop making freaking excuses. Get to work. There's enough things moving out there. Just be in them. And that's why I'm hard on people who say, oh, I'm waiting for the market to do this, duh. In the meantime, we have like 3, 4 massive moves. I mean, massive stocks which have gone up 80, 100, 200% in 15 minutes, in half an hour, and they all come back with the same excuse. I'm so busy. Well, don't be a trader. So I stopped myself from giving any excuses, and I don't entertain excuses from other people. But at the same time, I am always ready to answer questions. But if you want to keep on giving excuses, waiting for the market, something great will happen, and then it'll go higher, I don't know what to say. Okay. So I'm very hard on myself when I'm as a trader, and sometimes that comes out when I'm not easy. I'm like a hardcore coach. Like I'm not going to have you try to get to the big leagues, and be an NFL player by making excuses. 2,200, 2,600, 500 points, approximately 4,000 Dow points. That's your range. That's your range. Somebody says by when? By first week in April, by the end of the month, maybe, because things move so fast. If we break below 2,000. So now you can see it's very clear. There's your trading range. That's it. This is your trading range. This is your trading range for the next 5 trading days. On the upper end. On the lower end, max support around 2,000, which is not that far. In fact, I want 2,000 to be tested while we sleep. How about that? So they already tested. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, go do a 2,000 coronavirus test, no kidding aside, all kidding aside. But while I'm sleeping, so while the market opens up tomorrow morning, let me know. We already tested 2,000. Let's get to work. All right, guys, what do you want to know? This is my thing. Oh, let me look at let me show you the VIX. The VIX, surprisingly, Well, I know why the VIX. Does anyone realize that? And I did put it out there, obviously. That the VIX was down 7 points while the markets were down 900. Why do you think that happened? We don't have time for silence. We don't know. Say, hey, no.
Frank, could it be like what you talked about, the forced liquidation while the markets were kind of pricing everything in?
Yes. Thank you, Paul. It has to do with that article. Read it. The one that I sent you, actually, and then I put it up there. The one with Ronin Capital. They were long the VIX. But there's something called a risk parity going on, which I do not want to get into right now. Okay, you guys read up on it yourself. So what's happening is, even though VIX is going, even though the market's crashing, the VIX, they had to sell VIX because they were long VIX calls, and they bought so much with so much margin that they were blowing up. So that's the reason. Exactly. Thank you, Paul. So please educate yourself. That's kind of a fun word, right? By reading that article. The VIX was down 7 and the market's down 900. Like, oh, hello. We also call this a negative divergence. Okay. So bottom line is, if we look at, I never look at the VIX on this one. Okay, here. So that's why it was down. Otherwise, the VIX would have been up 10 points. I mean, not 10 points, 4 points maybe. So what is happening right now, ladies and gentlemen, and please focus, that the VIX, the volatility index, is creating a higher low versus the markets making a lower low. And the VIX, and this is actually quite exciting, if you ask me, the VIX has a, let me just get into this. This is your VIX, okay? I'm going to show you some simple things here. I haven't even constructed this, right? Yeah, well, okay, yeah, it's fine. So what's happening here? Lots of clusters. A major resistance at 85, that the VIX hit 85 on 318. What day was 318? 318 was Wednesday. So the VIX hit a ultimate high of 85. Since then, the markets have gone up and gone down, but the VIX has created, let me get this right here. Let me get a pen. The VIX refuses to, it is actually creating lower highs. It's on a downtrend. And even on the day, and this was that Ronin Capital thing, okay, on Friday. This is such an important article. The fact that I found it, you guys should pay me maybe $1 million just to like show you guys that, because you didn't hear that on the news. Maybe you'll hear it tomorrow. It was just a small article on CNBC. I'm like, yes, that was the reason. I kind of felt that there was some sort of blow up going on. Some sort of hedge fund, some sort of institutional derivatives firms, what they call CTAs, commodity trading, systemic accounts, commodity trading accounts, trend following accounts. So yeah, this is what happened. VIX actually went down to almost 56. Well, the markets were collapsing. Now this is the daily. So bottom line is, I'm looking at this. I'm not seeing bullish engulfing candles, even though the VIX cannot be always charted like individual stocks because it's actually a derivative. So what happens is that it moves very erratically. I try to draw patterns and stuff, but I'm just sort of giving you an example. So whichever the case, I see a pattern. So some people are going to say it's a bull flag, Frank. Yes, okay. Could be a bull flag. So that means the bull flag means that the most we can get up to is maybe 80, maybe 85. I don't know. But what I'm seeing here on the internals is what is exciting me. And it's very easy to see. The internals are pointing down. The first signs that the market is in a bottoming process. Doesn't mean it's going to be up 1,000 points every day. It simply means that we have established a tradable low, which can last from a couple of days to a couple of weeks, in between massive swings. Are you guys with me so far?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
Good. Yeah. So this is, to me, not rocket science. This is, to me, telling me, and I do it real simple, and simplicity pays the bills. Okay? Somewhere around here, which is around 58, I believe, just to be exact. What's this number here? 54. Okay, 54.5. Anyone can do this. Anyone can do this. They just have to think outside the box. Boom, 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 pen. Okay, this is going to be support. When the full stochastics comes down here, the VIX might very well come and retest the lower end of this channel, which is around 50. That's 16 points from here. A 16-point drop on the VIX will trigger a 1,000 plus point rally, if not more, within a matter of 1 to 2 days. Don't get too excited, because once the VIX comes to the lower end of the channel, there's a high probability that the VIX is going to bounce again. And that might fall in tandem with some terrible earnings guidance and earnings warnings that are coming. Many of companies have already warned that they're suspending their earnings outlook. So bottom line is, let's keep this clean. The VIX towards 50, rising 20-day moving average. Almost 99% chance for a short time it's going to bounce. If it breaks below this, the market is going to go up 2,000 points a day for 3 days in a row. How about that? And we're back to like 25,000, 26,000. And Donald can scream, and rightfully so, I told you it was going to go. And I'm going to be very happy. But you know what? I'm being a realist. It'll come down here. It's going to bounce. Simple. Now, if this continues to fall below this level of support here, this was here. Okay. See how the VIX went up, hit at that time 50, then pulled back to the bottom end of the channel, even slipped below that. That's what generally happens. It did not create a massive fallout on the full stochastics. So what that told us, that possibly, I mean, looking back in hindsight, that you know what? The VIX is going to bounce. And of course, Corona was at that time really picking up. This is beginning of March. So it will initially try to do that. It'll hold the bottom end of the channel, bounce. That means the market's going to fall again. Nothing crazy, but it'll fall. 1,000 points nowadays is a norm. Get used to it. And 15 points on Apple and So, you know, you just have to buy the levels. So bottom line is that if it'll come down here, bounce. If it breaks below, that means the VIX is going to come and retest around the 40 level, in which case it's a serious rally towards that 2,800, possibly 3,000. That means a lot of things are going to move so big, your head's going to spin and break. And in fact, you will probably, your head will probably explode in pain and anguish if you're not in that rally, which has happened to many traders. And they scratch their head, because right now every trader thinks it's over, because the market has forced all human brains to be complete mush, to think that America is finished, to think that coronavirus, the infection curve will never die, that it's all over pretty much. That's how the market has forced you to think. Complete bearish. There is no ounce of any hope or bullishness left. And why should we? Every day you're seeing the markets open down 100 points on the S&P 500,000 points and then bouncing. So I'm just trying to help you guys out. So that's the VIX portion of it. Just showing you the broader picture of what's going to happen. Best case scenario, it comes down to its 50 and then bounces. That means you want to get out of your long positions and possibly put out some put positions on a swing trade. In the meantime, it can bounce up. This is not a real-time thing here. So the VIX is right now, I believe, if I look at the VIX futures, 1 second. The VIX futures are right now around 74. 1 second, guys. VIX futures right now are at 69. So they're still stuck around here. They're still stuck around here. I mean, I expected VIX futures to be at 74 right now. VIX is up 12% right now. All right, guys, just a couple of quick questions and I'm going to wrap this up. Any quick questions? Okay, No
Hi,
quick
Frank.
questions?
This is,
Make it quick, please. Make it quick because I really
yeah.
need to wrap this up. Go ahead, sir.
I mentioned I was looking at Uber. I wanted to see if you can chart it or take a look at the chart.
Sure. In fact, I'm going to put Uber up tomorrow. Uber was obviously Dara Khosrowshahi, or whatever his name is. He's a freaking genius. I mean, he had this all of a sudden. I mean, that's when I'm following the stock lately. He basically opened up his cash position, said, "Hey, we're going to withstand this." So we had an excellent new member trading session this morning. I need everyone to listen to it, even though it was a new member. And we talked about Uber, and we talked about one of our new members brought out Royal Caribbean, RCL. And I said, you know what? People are going to be riding Ubers right, left, and center. The cruise industry, people are going to slow down. People are going to slow down. The cruise industry is going to slow down a lot more than Uber. So Uber, just from this chart was drawn a while ago when we were trading Uber. Okay, so I didn't have to do anything to it. So at this point, if you look at the 50% retracement on Uber, that's $30. The stock could very well go to $30. That's a lot of money. In the meantime, we have a 38.2% retracement at 26.48. The stock could very well close the gap at 25.78. Whichever the case, the stock is looking good for upside. Okay, unless you get some other terrible news from Uber, but they already opened up their books and said here how much the cash they had. The market loved it. So this huge candle from here to here was a 24% move. Then it went higher and closed the day closed the day either flat or something. So yes, simple buying calls, 25 calls. Give yourself 2 weeks maybe. Would be a good bet. If you want to be very bullish, then you buy the 50 fib, the 30 calls going into maybe April 17th. Here's your 20-day moving average at 28.30. This is a good looking chart. Now, unless this whole body of this bullish engulfing candle is given back, that means Uber falls below 15, which is highly unlikely, given their outlook and their press conference that they delivered. The point is that the stock will maybe bounce down if it's tomorrow morning, just because of the pressure on the market. And thanks to Ms. Pelosi's blocking the bill. All right, she better get her act together. Bottom line is Uber can fall to 19. I would be a heavy buyer of the stock at 19, 20 bucks, or even around here. Internals look good. Uber's good. Uber's good for now.
Thank you.
Short-term movements. Short-term movements. Okay, because that Uber will also succumb to the pressure of the general market. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Any other stock you guys want to quickly look at? No?
AMD?
Love the stock. Nothing about it. Just keep buying it. AMD's, what AMD is? AMD is like one of those armor-plated ants which never die. And that's AMD. Will it succumb to the market? Sure. So AMD's lowest point is basically 36. Worst case scenario, 35, 36. You never really get really hurt in AMD unless you have way too much money in it, because options are so cheap and they move so fast back and forth. You can pretty much generate profits. I love buying AMD and accumulating a nice position and selling it up. And it was up big time on Friday, all the way up, attempting to break out over this downtrend line till Ronin Capital blew up at 2 p.m. $43. So AMD, one with the other, you have to remember one thing, might come out with an outlook just the way Qualcomm did and say, you know what, our business is pretty okay. And boom, the stock will be up on a day, the market will be down 400, 500, 600 points. So I like AMD a lot. Now it is in a trading range. The trading range is 43. Lower end of the trading range is 37. If it breaks 37, there's some other big problems along the way. I do not want to be long the stock. I don't want to short the stock necessarily. I do not want to be long. So here's a trading range. One of my favorite trading stocks and investment stocks. There's your trading range. It's a box. Box the box. Remember, these are big time game chips, right? You don't think gamers are gaming right now? Stay at home, people like saying, hey, let me buy let me upgrade my computer a little bit, buy an AMD graphics chip or an AMD, processor. NVIDIA is into graphics chips primarily, but AMD makes amazing processors. And let's like boot up my machine a little bit because I want to play these new games that are coming out.
Not to mention the work from home, right, Frank?
Absolutely, not to mention the work from home. What did you read the Best Buy article, guys? I didn't bother putting it up there. Best Buy can't keep up with their frigging shopping because everybody and the mothers are like, I want the new laptop. I need this. I'm work from home. Like companies are like, yo, here's a $1,000 bonus. Go get it. What are most of those laptops powered on? AMD and Intel chips. In fact, AMD machines are cheaper. Processors are cheaper. I know computers, so believe me, I know. Okay, and faster. So yeah, they might come up with an earnings guidance up, and the stock lands up towards 46, 47, maybe touches the 50-day moving average. God forbid we have a reflex bounce in the market. That's a lot of money on those options because those options are beautiful. $1.30, $1.20, goes up 40 cents. That's 40% on your money. AMD, in my opinion, for every trader should be in their books. Cheap, fast, make money, and a really solid company. On that note, God bless you all. Let's get ready for the war tomorrow. Thank you for attending, and let's just make it happen. It's a very dramatic situation evolving right now. I do believe and side with President Trump that this deal will get done. It's not going to solve everything. What we do need to see is a flattening of the coronavirus infected cases. And I wanted to wish all of you and your families safety because this is a pretty dangerous time out there. Okay, you just don't know who's going to get what. Senator Rand Paul got that. So many other people are getting it. So just be, just quarantine yourself and just be safe with your families. That's it. Let's try to make some money. Let's not get too scared. Let's not get too happy. Let's stay calm. Just stay calm, stay robotic. Let's get fixated on the charts. Use your own gut feelings. And if you're feeling very uncomfortable, don't trade. Don't trade. There's always going to be opportunities because volatility can be maddening. It's like, what? So, okay, fine. Just sit back. There's always another hour. There's always another day. On that note, God bless you all. Thank you for attending. Take care.
Stay safe, Frank.
Thank you, sir.
Stay safe.